Okay, we have to collect all 20 of these flags here. So, the map will give us a general idea where they are. It doesn't give a very detailed idea, but they're pretty obvious. I mean, they're big white flags. Oh, the big pain about this is what'll happen is you'll very easily find the first 17 of these, or 18, or 16, or something. And then there'll be 4 that you have to look at the map and backtrack and run around. And well, there was obviously one right there. There's pretty much one in almost every window in this stupid little town. But some of them are very, like, this one's obviously, you know, you're supposed to get it with, well, you get it with Homer and you get your, and there'll be these things for Homer to break. So these guys are enemies. Like, all of these stereotypical French Simpsons characters will beat you up for no reason. Like, they surrender, but then they're beating up people who are trying to stop them from surrendering. I think their priorities are messed up. I think they should be not surrendering and beating up people who are trying to make them surrender. But that's just an opinion. That's just what one man thinks. Okay. So... yeah, and they'll just yell that we are done for. Feet don't fail me. Yeah, sure. Alright. Well, there's... oh, here's one. Here's an easy one, like... and as you can see that there's a countdown in the upper right-hand corner where it says select to show us the map, so... oh, there's a really obvious one. Flee like the wind. Alright. And if you punch these big piles of cheese, they break into little pieces of cheese that Homer can then eat. There's not a lot of stuff you need to do with Homer's Homer's smashing ability. Mainly it's stuff like this. There will be a couple like ramps that you can jump to. So here's our list. Collect all the surrender flags, and then there's our map. So obviously we had that open when we started the level, but we can open it at will. And like I said, it actually, you won't need it until you get down to like the 3 flags that you can't for the life of you figure out where they are. We definitely need Bart for this one. I can see and there'll be a lot of little things like that, like chimneys that you can use Bart's floating ability on and stuff like that. We are surrendering our country, not our style. Okay. Wasn't that a joke on the internet a couple years ago that, like, if you typed in great French victories, that what came up were, like, an autocorrect that said, like, did you mean great French defeats? And the giant irony of that is Napoleon. Really. Is the idea that the French have never had any kind of military success at all, except for when Napoleon took over most of Europe. Like, aside from that. Napoleon, who was such a historic badass that when they caught him, they exiled him to an island all by himself, and he just raised an army and came back and made himself emperor again. Like, and that really is saying something. When they stick you on an island in exile, and your response is like, I can just make another army and take the country back over. Like, that's impressive stuff. And then the really funny part about that is that then they exiled him to an island again. That was their solution, was to be like, oh, it didn't work the first time, so let's try again. And the second time it worked, but whatever. That probably had more to do with the political situation than it did the actual exile to the island. I mean, obviously, if you don't have supporters, you can't rally. I don't know much about the Napoleonic Wars, actually, to tell you the truth. What I know is I've read War and Peace, and I know that Napoleon was eventually exiled, and then, again, raised an army, and came back. And then I think was exiled to Elba the second time. It was 2 different islands, I think. The second time they exiled. I don't know anything about anything. Like, look up Napoleon, Wikipedia Napoleon, and you'll figure it out. You'll find out. Oh, there were some other things like what was he was depicted in something. Oh, he's depicted in the movie Quills. They have him in the movie Quills, sentencing the Marquis de Sade to something or other. Which, you know, who cares? Oh, and there's a famous painting of him with his hand in his coat that people have debated the meaning of for years and years and years. So those are the things I know about Napoleon. So, but again, I mean, like, yeah, like great French, you know, victories. Ha ha ha! They've only had defeats. Again, Napoleon. Like, so. And actually, now that I think about it, I know far more. You know, when I tend to think of European countries that have never had, that I can't think of any great military kind of things. I mean, I think of, you know, actually, I really don't. I know nothing about European history. What am I talking about? I want to pretend that I do, but like I don't, like at all. Like, when I was in high school, I probably knew more about. What do we got left? 5. I think there's 2 on that building over there. Maybe there's just 1. See, now they're just like out in the middle of nowhere. So now we'll actually have to look at where we are and then move around and see where we moved to and stuff. So I can't. Yeah, I mean, when I was in high school, I had an English teacher who was kind of obsessed with the British monarchy and some of the history of that. And so I knew a little bit about English and French and Spanish, kind of, you know, fighting hundreds of years ago or whatever. You know, and really, public education in the United States is really just like their history idea is to just teach you to teach you the Revolutionary War and then teach you the Civil War, and then you're done. They don't even get to World War II. I don't know. I mean, I took an AP American History class, and I don't think we got to. Did we do? I think we did up through World War II. And then they were just like, "Well, hope you don't need to know anything from the '60s." So. Actually, we didn't learn very much about McCarthyism, which is really funny because, like, I'm from Wisconsin. Like, McCarthy was he was like the junior senator from Wisconsin. So. Yeah, weird stuff. Again, it's, yeah, you know, I mean, the problem with any history class is you have a limited amount of time to cover what is essentially an unlimited subject. I mean, because you can go into all kinds of crazy detail about history, like, you can deal with Napoleon, and you can deal with, like, just Napoleon's generals, or you could, you know, you can write books on just a Napoleonic general, or, you know, you could probably write books on a battle, you know, in the Napoleonic War, or, like, one battle of the Civil War, or, you know, 1 year of a president's term in America, or, you know, so, you know, how do you do 300 years of history in a semester or whatever? Well, we haven't talked about this game at all. So this building over here is the only oddity in the whole thing, and that's just because it's surrounded by water. So you've got to get to it doing this. And there you go. Bart can actually get over here too, and we'll have to probably get Bart over here at some point. I'm not sure. Homer might be able to get both of or at least the flag off of here. But obviously, you know, there's vines for Bart to climb. Make sure your flag is wide, not off-white or eggshell. Alright, and Homer can get most of the places Bart normally would, except for to the top of this roof. And maybe there's a way to get him to the top of this roof. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, there's 3 and they're all over here, so... Well, yeah, there's a Krusty coupon here, too, so... Okay, well, we can't get up the vines to... But there is one right here that we got. Yay! And there's cheese for Homer. G's for Homer. Alright. Come on, Bart. We've got flags to get. Aw. I was really hoping I'd do one thing right in this whole, like, run through this level. Was that one little coast onto the... That was all I wanted. Alright. Oh, yeah, they put up... Okay, so we'll grappling hook our way over. Okay, Bart, do us proud. I like that he's thinking about being Bartman as he's climbing. I mean, obviously it's the game telling us we need Bartman, or we need Bart, but, like, we are Bart. So we don't, you know, I mean, come on. I also like that there's this, like, steeple thing up here, but, like, there's really nothing you can do with it. Alright, so here's one of them. This is obviously the hardest one to... Well, it's the most involved to get. So there's one more down here somewhere. There it is! Oh, that's so obvious. Wow. Alright, so we're going to get this one, and then we'll be cutting the video off because I don't know where we're going to put a cut in here. Because we've been running since the airship, so... I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, right here, loading screen. Okay. So bye, everybody, and we'll see you for the next part of this level.